Thank you, retiring teachers, families and friends, EECD, NBTA representatives, ladies and gentlemen, I am truly touched and honored by this award today. When I received my phone call from Larry, I didn't know what to say. I was in shock. Number one, you don't get a call from Larry Jameson every day. I hope not. And number two, you don't hear what he had to say every day. It took a while to process. I truly want to thank my wonderful colleagues who went out of their way to nominate me. I am greatly thankful. The path to my becoming a teacher is based on my wonderful family. I grew up in an environment that promoted reading, music, sports, hard work, and humor. My dad owned and operated a pharmacy for over 30 years, so we lived with the good old work ethics, long hours, elbow grease, practice makes perfect. My mom promoted education, culture, especially music, and to stay on the sunny side of the street. My siblings are close and always very encouraging, always guiding and steering me onto good things. I thank you guys immensely. I have seen a lot of great changes in education over the years, great advances in technology and learning programs. The biggest change for me was our introduction to the invitational schools model, which had its origins in this province in Bathurst. Joe Flynn introduced the middle-level teachers to it in the early 90s, and by 1994 we had jumped into it with both feet. As it took shape, the results of team teaching with amazing colleagues, success rates climbed for students. And over the years, I have had the pleasure of teaching industrial arts education, aka shop art, and about 4 years ago I jumped into running the music department. I have always been proud to say that I taught at Superior Middle School. And some of those friends and colleagues that started way back are here today, Alice, Beth. To teach in a truly invitational school has been truly rewarding. Educating in a positive atmosphere is a healthy learning environment where the kids are excited about learning, and if kids are excited about learning, that's gold. And all kids learn differently. All teachers teach differently. Teachers and students motivate each other. Every person in a school impacts the learning of a child. I have almost daily caught myself saying, oh my goodness, I learn something every day from my kids. I have also learned a lot from EAs, our secretary and custodians. I'll use an analogy here, as most of us get caught up in NHL playoffs at this time of year. My colleagues are like a playoff team vying for the cup. They combine their skills, commitment, dedication, and are not afraid to go into the corners when they have to. And of course, very often, there is late night overtime. You have your wingers, your defense, and of course, the captain and assistants striving to be successful and be a championship team. Now, like Forrest Gump, teaching is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, 1 score and 7 years ago, I had my grade 7 technology class build model rockets from scratch. The only part we didn't make were the solid rocket fuel engines. We built them through the cold winter months, and finally, the big day had finally arrived, somewhere around April Fool's Day, to launch our payload. And one at a time, after a spirited countdown, each spacecraft lifted off the ground. Most were successful in achieving their goals. Number one, they launched and left the launch pad successfully. Number two, the airframe and fins guided the rocket's ascension. And number three, the final stage, at the end of its trajectory, deployment of a carefully packed parachute. As always, there were a few perfect ones, Some were built well enough, yet due to some minor building flaws, didn't attain maximum altitude. And unfortunately, a couple didn't get off the ground at all. I reminded the class that it was a one-shot deal, and it did have some risks in its success. There was also the Mother Nature factor in the mix as well. Finally, the last launch of the morning, even though it was an overcast morning with only a slight breeze, there was an increasing breeze at a higher altitude. And when that last rocket went up a few hundred meters and its parachute popped out beautifully, on its descent, the rocket suddenly took on its own flight path. That thing was not going to touch down anywhere near Superior Middle School schoolyard. It headed out on the westerly breeze high above the neighborhood towards the harbor. So, with some explanation to the class about the rocket with the highest altitude but didn't return, we packed up and headed into lunch. And not long after lunch, an excited little Jimmy met up with me and exclaimed, "I got it, Mr. Mann, I got it," as he had triumphantly held up his damp, yet intact rocket. His pants were pretty soaked as well. Although it was totally unsafe what that kid did, I couldn't help feeling a sense of joy of what he had put into his work. Talk about determination. Yes, I have seen great technological advances and successes over the years. However, the learning community must always hold on to basic traditions, like caring for one another. Learning has to be meaningful and fun. Teaching and learning is challenging, yes, but all involved in that process must have fun, or it doesn't happen. Yes, Mom, I stay on the sunny side of the street, and those who know me know that's how I roll. It's easier to create positive energy that way, isn't it? And if you have that in your classroom, you really can't ask for anything more. I owe so much to a very special lady, my wife, Alice, an extremely dedicated, talented teacher, Hall of Fame coach, artist, and musician. She has been a huge part of my success, and she has shared her knowledge and skills in so many, "Hey, that's great, but have you ever thought about maybe doing it this way?" moments with me. Alice, you have no idea how much you have helped me out. Thank you so much. To everyone here today, I'd like to congratulate you. As you head into retirement, job well done. Feel good about yourself. Your time and effort have made a difference to so many kids. Once again, thank you so much for this recognition. I am truly honored.